Well, hello everyone. This is your princess in Suburbia. Again, my name is Princess Dr. Fumi Hancock, and welcome to the 5-minute success blueprint. Today, I want to talk about the 5 ways to find your inner self and to get unstuck. Have you ever thought to find yourself in this busy world where everything is coming at you at a speed of light? One day you might wake up and you are so convinced that you know exactly who you are and what you are supposed to be doing for that day. But by the end of that night, when the night falls, other things may have taken over. Well, when you find yourself in this kind of position, it is time to get unstuck. It is time to stand still and know exactly who you are and what you were meant to do. That is what you know that you were created to do. I always tell people to kind of learn to stay in their own lane. For me, I have learned to stay in my lane. It took me a while to finally understand that. For 10 years, for 13 or even over 30 years, I found myself doing a lot of things. I was a social worker, then I was a nurse, and eventually several years ago, just barely 2 years ago, I finally got the inclination. I got the inclination that I was called to be a storyteller. Now, everything that I've done in my life, there is a way that when you come back to exactly who you are and you learn to stay in your lane, everything that you have done, you will be surprised how you can also use those to kind of help others. The only way that you are going to experience success, let me tell you 5 ways. You learn to tell and face the truth about your situation. A lot of times we stay in denial. Often, even as Christians, which I am, we often use religion as a crutch not to move forward. There are times we find ourselves on our knees praying and praying about a certain issue when it was actually time for us to get up, face the truth about what we've done, our situation, face the truth about the role that we played in what was going on in our lives, and then move forward. That is, take action. Secondly, we have to learn to surrender. I did talk about that in my last podcast. So if you have not listened to my last podcast, I will advise you to please take the last podcast about submission and really listen to that, because those are indeed wisdom nuggets that will help you to get unstuck. So if you have not listened to that, I urge you to go back and listen to all of my other podcasts. So first of all, you tell and face the truth about your situation. Then secondly, you surrender to the process of soul searching. This can be very, very painful for a lot of us, because when you surrender to that, you will be surprised how the world will open. And there are certain things that you will see, certain steps that you have made error that you will have to recorrect. But you have to surrender to the process of soul searching, regardless of how painful that is. Number 3, you embrace the fact that you are a work in progress. Many of us at times want to run ahead of ourselves, even when we find we already know what we're meant to do, instead of us to stand still to find the rest of the steps. We tend to run ahead of ourselves. And when you do that, you're subject to error. So quit running ahead of yourself. Embrace the fact that you are a work in progress and that you are not perfect. Be authentic about your situation. Be authentic. Be truthful about your situation. Because I tell you what, if you're not authentic, people will find you out. Regardless of how much you look on the outside, regardless of how eloquent you are speaking, people will find out that you are not truthful. So you need to be authentic about your message. Listen to the divine still voice, which often comes from within. But when your inside is unstill, when it is unrestful, turn to your trusted ones. I hope that I have helped you this morning to take a look at how to find your inner self and get unstuck. Please listen to the podcast that I've done before. I urge you to go on Facebook and like my Facebook, A Success Launch Blueprint. I also invite you to take a look at my Twitter, but most importantly, subscribe to this podcast. The great news is that this podcast also have an app which is free and is downloadable. Until next time, be brilliant, be inspired, be motivated, be of sentimental value, but above all, be yourself.